What up, it's your boy C Rizzy coming at you with Unit 11, Lesson 6, Surface Area and Volume of Spheres. Our essential question is, how do you find the surface area and volume of a sphere? And our objective is to answer that question by finding the surface area and volume of a sphere. So it's essentially, you can just find the surface area and volume of any sphere if you're given its radius. So let's go through some points of a sphere. A sphere is a three-dimensional circle. A sphere is a set of all points in a space equidistant or all points equally distant from a given point called the center. A radius is a segment that has one endpoint at the center and the other endpoint at the sphere. We all know what the radius is. While a diameter is a segment passing through the center with endpoints on the sphere. So if that's the radius, then the diameter would look something like this. It would go from one end, it would go through the center to the other, and that would be the diameter. When a plane and a sphere intersect in more than one point, the intersection is a circle. If the center of a circle is also the center of a sphere, it's called the great circle. So what happens is if you cut a sphere right down the middle, you get what's called the great circle. The circumference of a great circle is also the circumference of the sphere. And a great circle divides a sphere into two hemispheres. So again, when you cut it right down the middle, you get two hemispheres. Half of a sphere is called a hemisphere. Okay. To find the surface area of a sphere, a baseball can model that. So to approximate its surface area, you can take part of it by taking apart its covering. Each of the two pieces suggests that a pair of circles with radius r, which is approximately the radius of the ball. So when you take apart a baseball, you essentially get 4 circles. So the surface area is the area of each circle times 4. So it's 4 pi r squared. And that's what the surface area of a sphere is. Surface area is 4 pi r squared. And remember that surface area is always measured in units squared because it's surface area. The volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. And remember, this is in units cubed. So there are two formulas. Let's put it to work. What is the surface area of this sphere in terms of pi? So we know that surface area is equal to 4 pi r squared. And this is easy. This is the radius. So the surface area is equal to 4 times pi times 5 squared. So in terms of pi, meaning we don't multiply by pi, so all we're doing is 4 times 5 squared. We'll put pi at the end. 5 squared is 25. 4 times 5 is 100. So my answer is 100 pi centimeters squared. Find the volume of the sphere in terms of pi. This one's a little bit trickier because in this one they gave us the diameter and we need the radius. So the radius is equal to the diameter divided by 2. So my radius is 3/2. And I'm going to keep it like that. So volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So all we're doing is 4/3 times 3/2 cubed times pi. So I'm not going to do this in my head. So I'm going to do this on my handy dandy calculator. So we're doing 4 divided by 3, 4/3, times, what was it, 3/2? 3 divided by 2, and that is being cubed. And what do we get? Oh, there you go, 4.5. So then our answer here is equal to 4.5 pi units cubed. Oh, well, it's yards. So 4.5 yards cubed, pi yards cubed. Last question. Use the given circumference to find the surface area of a spherical object. So circumference, if we don't know, circumference is equal to 2 pi r. And we cannot find surface area without knowing what radius is. So I know the circumference is 8, so this gets plugged in over here. So 8 equals 2 pi r, and we need to solve for r. So doing a little algebra here, we're going to divide by 2 pi so that these cancel each other out. So I'm left with r equals 8 divided by 2 pi. Now, I'm not going to change this yet because it's going to give me something weird. So I'm just going to kind of move on to, so if my radius is 8 equals 2 pi, so I'm just going to erase this very quickly. That way we have some more room to work. So radius equals 8 divided by 2 pi. We know that the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. So we're just going to plug that in. So surface area is equal to 4 times radius squared, which is 8 divided by 2 pi squared times pi. Now, what only gets a little bit tricky when you put this into the calculator is that if you just put in 8 divided by 2 pi, 8 divided by 2 pi, we get 12. Why does that not make sense? 2 times pi, which is approximately 3.14, is about 6. 8 divided by 6 is not 12, so what is happening here? Your calculator is doing 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and then multiplying by pi. So when I put this into the calculator, I have to be careful to put the 2 pi in parentheses, so that way it'll do the division, and you get approximately 1.27. So let's try this again. So it's 4 times our radius, which is 8 divided by 2 pi squared times pi, and we get approximately 20.37. So surface area is approximately 20.37, which is approximately 20 units cubed. All right, that's all from me.